What if your mind could reach beyond space and time? We've all heard about psychic abilities, telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition, all the stuff sci-fi movies, late night radio, and internet rabbit holes. But here's the question. Is there any actual science behind it? Have people throughout history really tapped into hidden mental powers? And if possible, could you learn how to do it? So let's dive into the real experiments, ancient techniques, and what modern neuroscience has to say. Psychic is a catch-all term used to describe phenomena that seem to bypass the five senses, including telepathy, which is mind-to-mind communication, clairvoyance, knowing or seeing something at a distance, precognition, knowledge of the future, psychokinesis, influencing physical objects without even touching them, mediumship, which is communicating with the dead, and remote viewing, which is just the military's favorite term for clairvoyant spying. A lot of skeptics write these off as imagination or illusion, and yeah, there's been plenty of fraud, but some psychic claims are so consistent across cultures, religions, and centuries that it is hard to ignore. In the 1970s, the US government launched a classified operation called Project Stargate. No, not the sci-fi movie, this was real. Funded by the CIA and US Army intelligence, Stargate recruited psychics called remote viewers to locate missing soldiers, spy on Soviet bunkers, and even explore Mars. One of the most famous cases involved a man named Indigo Swan, who saw the rings of Jupiter before they were even discovered by NASA. And while the program was officially shut down in the 90s, declassified documents show that it was active for over 20 years. Mainstream neuroscience doesn't support psychic powers in the traditional sense, but there is fascinating research around intuition, pattern recognition, and non-local perception. Studies using fMRI scans show strange results when people claim to know things that they shouldn't. Some key scientific ideas that might explain psychic-like effects are quantum entanglement, which is just information transfer at a distance. It's still controversial though. Microtubules in the brain linked to consciousness and quantum effects, which is the Penrose-Hameroff theory. And then the gut-brain connection, which we all have, that intuition and the subconscious pick up on far more than we can even realize. So while no lab has confirmed telekinesis or true precognition, science hasn't completely ruled out the idea that the brain might be capable of much more. Long before the term psychic existed, humans were tapping into something else. Shamans, prophets, and mystics across nearly every ancient culture described oracles, entering trance states to predict the future. We have dreamwalkers traveling the astral plane, and priests and priestesses interpreting visions during rituals. In ancient Greece, the Oracle of Delphi was said to channel divine knowledge. In Tibet, monks practiced telepathy during silent retreats. And in early Egypt, pharaohs consulted seers before making major decisions. In the indigenous cultures around the world, intuition was seen as a sixth sense, a survival tool. In the 20th century, saw a major rise in psychics thanks to war, anxiety, and mass media. People wanted answers, and many turned to psychic hotlines, TV mediums, and astrology. While a lot of this became a scam industry, some high-profile cases shocked even skeptics. For example, police using psychics to help locate missing persons, which we've all seen that. Uri Geller, accused of being a fraud but tested by actual physicists at Stanford. Then you have Nina Kalija, a Russian woman who appeared to move small objects with her mind on film. Even today, some military operatives and intelligence analysts quietly admit that intuition-based recon is real, even if they don't call it psychic. So, here's where it gets practical. Can you develop psychic abilities? That depends on how you define it. Some common training methods include meditation, clears mental noise and strengthens the intuition, remote viewing drills such as sketch what's inside an envelope or something across the room, dream journaling, just track precognitive dreams or synchronicities, Zeinar card tests used in early ESP experiments, and then energy sensing, practice in Reiki, martial arts, and Eastern traditions. It's like a muscle, like you train your brain to notice patterns, emotions, and energy shifts that most people ignore. You may not start bending spoons or anything, but you might become incredibly intuitive. So here's the reality. Most quote-unquote psychic powers haven't passed double-blind scientific testing. But also most people don't know how to test them properly. Just because it hasn't been measured doesn't mean it doesn't happen. We don't fully understand consciousness, We don't fully understand memory, intuition, or even dreams, and throughout history, humans have always sensed more than they can explain. So whether you believe in psychic abilities or not, the one thing is clear: our minds are capable of way more than we even give them credit for. Psychic abilities might not be about bending spoons or predicting lottery numbers. It could be about tuning into signals, subtle ones, that most people miss. Whether it's a hunch, a dream that came true, or a flash of insight that you can't explain, maybe we all have a little bit of psychic in us. This is the Vault Files. Follow us for more breakdowns of what's hidden, what's weird, and what might just be real. Also, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and we also have a TikTok and Instagram, and obviously, yeah, please subscribe and get notifications on YouTube, and please check out our Patreon. We're using that to do this full time because we enjoy it, and we know you enjoy it as well. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you at the next video.